But as we walk through New World wines and Old World wines, can you guys talk to us about your feelings about basically the acceptance of wines, called Merceau or Chablis in the Old World as opposed to Chardonnay in the New World, but also whether it's red, white, indifferent, like how New World wines are seen to, they're expected to be the best the day that you buy them and you take them home and pop the cork out, where there's a deference given to Old World wines for ageability or maybe like something other than fruit.
A tiny little part of them. Yeah. Most Old World wines are everyday wines. I mean, most wines in the world are everyday wines.
Right, absolutely.
They're groceries, as Richard likes to say. Right?
Indeed.
This table is an awesome set of rarities.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that, separation between, wine should be drank every day at every meal, as far as we're concerned. But also, there's this Eurocentricity, if you will, with like almost a forgivingness, if you will, with wines if they need time or they don't need time, or if they show you something that's other than purity of fruit, it's accepted. And I just would love your comments on that.
I got something for you on that. Please. I mean, everything ripens, right? In California, you can plant Riesling next to Syrah or Grenache.
Except for Cabernet in Santa Barbara.
That's true, actually, but I like it down there. It's special. As we'll soon see. So, I mean, I think we have to just recognize that all this stuff is native to there. And it's native to there for a reason, right? It didn't just, and America's the land of opportunity, which is awesome. I mean, much like our European friends look at us like, you reinvented yourself how many times? Like, you lived in how many places? Like, what? Like, it's so foreign to their whole way of thinking, but it's true with the vines too. And we can take Riesling from Germany, and we can take Grenache from Spain, and we can put them next to each other, and they both ripen in California. And they both make fruit juice, and we can turn that into alcohol. It doesn't mean that it's going to express the place, because it's not necessarily where it's yielding, and that's fine, right? If it makes you smile, you should drink it. But I think what's important to recognize is that those things are from that when they're in their native environment where they actually first occurred. That there's going to be a synergy between grape and place. And
did you just coin a new brand, Sangresia?
I did.
Shh, I like it.
Don't tell anybody. but that synergy, I think, is, even if it happens in this very small percentage of what is the table, or at a very high level of intellectual, whatever, intensity, that has given us the opportunity to afford everything from there, where it's native, that favor. And maybe we should extend the favor to California or the New World, but and we should. But we're also young, as a wine-drinking nation, So I think we'll get there. But right now, there's also a lot of crap we got to work through too. I don't want to drink a Riesling from the Napa Valley. I'm not interested, and so. I'm just not.
That was low fruit.
Oh,
Yeah, but 40 years ago there was more Riesling in that. 40 years ago there was more Riesling in the Napa Valley than there was Cabernet.
And Coquelin had a huge planting of Chenin Blanc and Riesling. How funny is that?
I totally agree, and I really encourage everyone to separate Napa Valley from the rest of California and realize that, it's
and that is the root of the issue. We need to stop thinking of California as a country unto itself. But for that, remembering that France as a country has all these different microclimates and all these classical wine growing regions, we are still in basically our nascence for these classical wine growing regions, and we're still figuring all that stuff out. But remember, we do have these different regions. Napa is so different from Santa Barbara, from Sonoma even, and et cetera, et cetera. And when when still in our minds, because as Richard said, we're still so young in our minds to thinking that California is just this thing that we can put in one big hole, one big pigeonhole, that we expect it to be that way. So I think that's really part of the root of the issue, and I think the education for people to be able to understand that will come. I want to speak, and we're already out of time, by the way. But I want to talk about that forgivingness that you were asking about, that forgivingness, because I don't think you, Joe or Richard really spoke too much about that portion. But yes, there is that kind of forgiveness for a wine, perhaps from the old world, that needs to quote unquote open up, versus the the New World wine that doesn't necessarily need to open up. But I think that comes also from the philosophy from the general majority of winemakers and producers, because I think I disagree to one of Joe's points earlier, how he was talking about, you know, I think there's but that there are a tremendous amount of producers that want you to drink their wines right now, and it's made for that right now. In the old world, their sensibilities aren't for right now, like we experienced in the Antonori seminar earlier. They're talking about generations after.
You're a sliver of the wine that's produced there.
It is, but that's where we play. That's where this audience is, and I think that's an important thing to elucidate here. So you know, for them, it's not, the wines are not only to be delicious now, but they should be delicious 20 years from now, 25 years from now. And the economies in the New World are not that way. They are supposed to be consumed right now. And so for that factor and its reason for being is quite different. So I think that's where that comes from.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Can I turn our attention back to some white wine?
All this was a stall to get the Coach Durie back to temperature, right?
Steve, did you enjoy some satisfaction there? I mean, are you good?
I did, absolutely. No, I appreciate you guys talking about those. For me, like sometimes they qualify as inequities, you know, as far as like Eurocentricity and that sort of thing, and generalization typically causes some real problems within the world. You know, we've seen that on huge scale of wars and all that sort of thing. And I know that we're just talking about wine and it's a beverage, and I know we're only talking about a small percentage of the wines, but in general, it's interesting that that people don't really expect New World wines to excel.
Right.
And that's what I appreciate you guys speaking to.
It's going to happen though. We're all new to it.
It's totally. It's happening.
You know, I can't wait to talk about the Grange.
And I hope one day that when we talk about Santa Rita Hills and the wine is white, it's Chardonnay.
Yeah.
You know? And I hope that one day when we talk about Santa Rita Hills and the wine is red, it's Pinot Noir.
That'll be pretty awesome, right?
That's the last time we're going to go.
I like that. I like it.
I don't know why they invite master sommeliers to be on the panel when we should have winemakers, right?
No, we put it in the audience so we can just, you know, pin it.
It's like volleyball.